Hi, it's Molly. Welcome back. Let's take a look at what is happening with the Sagittarius New Moon occurring on November 23rd, 2022 at 5:57 p.m. That's Eastern Time, so be sure and adjust for your location on the planet. As with every new moon, we find the sun and the moon together, the two luminaries, anima, animus, yin and yang, meeting up at the same degree point in the sky. This is at 1 degree Sagittarius, 37 minutes. So we round up to 2 degrees of Sagittarius in your chart, and that's what you want to identify by house placement. So in this demo chart, it's in the 6th house. And in your chart, you would look at where 2 degrees of Sagittarius is. And if you aren't familiar with how to find that, I have a video for you on YouTube called How to Find a Degree Point in Your Chart. It's a tutorial video that I hope assists you in identifying exact degree points. So the sun and the moon together near the very beginning of Sagittarius, the 9th sign of the zodiac, a fire sign, a mutable sign, ready to go, ready to lift off, take off, explore. This is meant to be an uplifting new cycle of energy that shows you what you've been learning, that reveals more of the wisdom that you've been moving through, tapping into, and also connecting you with some higher perspectives that maybe you weren't aware of, that you didn't see before. The Sagittarius energy is meant to take us further than we've been before. It's meant to expand us. So a new moon at this point in the heavens is revealing to you something new that you weren't aware of, but it's meant to support you in what you're understanding and learning about your energy. And oftentimes this can be invigorating because now we have these 4 planets in fire signs, Venus and Mercury also in Sagittarius, and they are bringing this fiery energy to a part of your chart and helping us with what we're moving towards next. Sagittarius energy wants freedom and independence, values being able to explore and seek. Wanderlust is actually a key word with Sagittarius, but it's also where we can connect to a higher consciousness that holds answers, that gives us understanding. And this could be a new moon where you're connecting with something that maybe you were feeling or sensing, and suddenly something lines up. There's a sense of, wow, this is what it's been about. This is the theme. This is what I'm meant to understand. And we have both Venus and Mercury making a trine here to Chiron, 12 degrees Aries retrograde, offering this wisdom to your healing journey, to wherever this Chiron has been traveling in your chart. Chiron in Aries is the energy of being ready to do something on your own terms, something new, something you haven't tried before, but something that could be challenging in terms of it feels very new and different. It feels vulnerable. There's a part of you that's like, can I do this? Am I able to trust myself in this new way? And so this Chiron in Aries has been tapping us into more of what we can absolutely trust in ourselves. And it's covering territory in your chart that it's actually been in since middle 2021. That's when Chiron first got to 12 degrees of Aries. So since it was June, I believe, July 2021, over a year and a half ago, this Chiron has been going back and forth through a particular area of your chart. Now there's some new understandings, new wisdom, new knowledge, and connection points that are perhaps showing you what you've been healing and what your soul has been learning. Because the Sagittarius energy is often aware that there's more to understand. There's other perspectives, other opinions. How open-minded are we at times? Because the lower octaves of Sagittarius can be opinionated, judgmental, and a know-it-all. It can be the energy, I've seen everything, I know the answers, I have all the knowledge. But the more open-minded or higher expressions of Sagittarius remind us there's always more to learn or understand. And how we go about that would be through various life experiences. And so Sagittarius is where we accumulate wisdom, knowledge, and belief systems based on our life experiences, based on what you've been through, what you have gone through that has shaped you, formed you, changed you, and created your understanding of the world. And I feel like with this particular Sagittarius new moon, especially occurring at 2 degrees of Sag, so the beginning of Sagittarius, there's the energy here of perhaps being ready and willing for a new quest, trusting a new calling, trusting something that you're ready for, and you feel it. You feel that calling from your soul. You feel a desire to expand yourself or embark on a new adventure, or perhaps something that maybe it just feels like, yeah, I finally have energy for this. I'm willing to go for it. And then the fire energy of Sag is where we say yes and we take off. Now, do keep in mind that Sagittarius can also be the energy of exaggeration and arrogance and overdoing it. So with these 4 planets here in Sagittarius, we do have to stay mindful of what you can really handle, what is really doable. Not just a beautiful, inspiring vision, but what can truly come together. And as I look at this chart, we see how these 4 planets in Sagittarius are going to continue moving direct, which means each one is going to be making an opposition to this Mars in Gemini retrograde. But Mars is going to be moving retrograde. So Mars will be moving back this way as the Sagittarius planets move forward. And this Mars is going to potentially create something that hinders or slows down that energy or vision of the Sagittarius planets. And this will get stronger in December. So there's something about this new moon cycle that is calling you towards a new adventure, a new idea, a new part of yourself, something that is meant to be inspiring and uplifting. But the opposition to this Mars retrograde in Gemini could be a frustration with the details, where you're like, but this is the plan. This is what we're doing. This is where I want to go. And then here comes Mars, who retrograde is kind of grumpy, and in Gemini has to slow down and focus. And so he's going to bring up some details that you have to consider, that you have to be aware of, and that maybe you overlooked, or something that you're like, maybe I didn't think this through enough. So I just want to offer that in terms of planning and expectations. The other energy that's in play here with this Mars is that he has been in an ongoing square to Neptune, 22 Pisces retrograde. And so that's the energy of disappointment, things falling through. You planned everything as best you could, and then something else takes it away or removes it, because that Neptune energy dissipates. So I feel like This Sagittarius new moon is getting us going. It's getting us started. It's launching and moving us ahead. But then each planet makes an opposition to Mars and then squares this Neptune and Pisces. So we really have to stay extra flexible during Sagittarius season. Just extra adaptable, go with the flow, not being too rigid or locked in, just staying aware that things are going to change and it will be out of your hands at times. But this is where you can just stay open to the experience of whatever it might be. So I just want to offer that because as I see how this energy unfolds, there could be things here where you're like, okay, I guess that didn't come together as I thought it would, but I still got a lot from it. I still learned this. I still had a great time. It was still a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, the things that Sagittarius energy seeks and wants. Now, the other thing that's strong here in this particular chart is that the Sagittarius planets are ruled by Jupiter. And the same day of this new moon, we have Jupiter stationing direct, that's what the S means in this case, at 28 degrees of Pisces 47 minutes, stationing direct after being retrograde for a number of months. So here Jupiter has returned to the final degrees of the whole zodiac wheel, reconnecting us with a new sense of faith, hope, trusting in something that we can't see yet, but we're feeling it. Jupiter is exalted in Pisces. Jupiter enjoys being in this energy as it was the former ruler of Pisces. And Jupiter previously this year in April had that conjunction with Neptune where they were assisting us in connecting with some new potentials in our lives. And I feel like this Jupiter retrograde back into Pisces is revisiting how we are tuning into our spiritual gifts, trusting our intuition, knowing that we're not alone, that we travel with multiple energies. And Jupiter in Pisces is spiritual protection. In fact, Jupiter, being the biggest planet in the solar system, is often about feeling powerfully protected, kind of like you're in a bubble, kind of like there's things that don't get to you, don't affect you, don't bother you. And with this Jupiter now stationing direct in Pisces, there's a sense of optimism here and looking at, what you've had to close out, what you've had to end for your best and highest good, but perhaps feeling peaceful about it, feeling a sense of, yeah, that was the right thing, or that lesson is really complete for me. Look at what I've learned. Look at how I've grown. Look at how I've done some deep healing that my soul was really supporting me through. And this Jupiter in Pisces has a very high perspective. It's your higher self's wisdom. It's above the 3D, above the physical. So this is where intuitive messages, imagery that you're receiving, downloads from your crown chakra, feeling tuned in to particular dream state messages or astral travel or what's happening in other energetic realms. There's a sense here of new hope and just feeling good about how far you've come, how far you've journeyed, what you have moved through that perhaps only you know about. And at this point in the zodiac, the last 2 degrees here of Pisces, the energy is very nebulous. It's very hard even to grasp onto something. There's nothing to hold here. There's nothing to grasp onto. In fact, we are at a place of floating in something, and maybe you've been feeling that in your life. If you've been feeling a void of something, perhaps a delay, perhaps thinking something has been denied to you, or it's not coming together, it's not happening for me. Some of the lower energies of Pisces can be that self-pity that unconscious victim energy or blame. This is also where we can want to give up. Just give up. Just walk away. I don't want to do this. This isn't for me. I'm done. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. But the higher expression is surrender. There's been things in your life you've had to surrender. And it's because it wasn't the right energetic connection or match. It wasn't of the same frequency. It wasn't going to go the long distance or long term. It's something that was just meant to show you more about your energy. But going back to the Sagittarius energy of what you're learning about your own energy, I feel like this particular Sagittarius new moon is a turning point in our spiritual journeys. It's a turning point of what you have accumulated, perhaps through multiple life experiences, perhaps through a lot of various experiences, but maybe there has been a common thread of what you've been learning at a soul level. And there could be an understanding of what you've been moving through. And it feels like with this Jupiter stationing direct, also Neptune and Pisces, there's a turning point here in your spiritual growth of loving what you've been through, loving how far you've come, accepting and working with the vibrations of unconditional love from the universe. Because let's be real, this human journey is not easy. And at a soul level, we knew that when we signed up to be here. And I feel like this is a particular new moon that gives us new energy, new life, new wisdom. So what are you going to do with it? How are you going to integrate it? How are you going to apply it and use it? And as these planets move forward, they are also going to make sextiles to Saturn. And Saturn is now direct and at 19 degrees of Aquarius, territory Saturn was at previously this year. And now here comes this energy of Sagittarius wisdom that connects to Saturn, and Saturn decides what's useful. Saturn says, oh, sure, we can use that. Great, good work. Yes, let's take that forward with us. If it applies to where you're going, your future plans, Saturn gives you the thumbs up. If it's not really useful, if it's hollow, sometimes the Sagittarius energy can be inconsistent, flaky, and again, too big for its bridges, like all talk and no walk. So if it's hollow, Sagittarius or Saturn throws it out. But if it has some real depth, some real applicable use, Saturn keeps it and takes it forward with you to what you are building and focusing on for the future. So this could be an invigorating turning point. We have now 5 planets in fire signs, in these 4 plus this Chiron in Aries. And we have a sense of renewed faith and optimism and also detachment, because this, again, the final degrees of the full zodiac, the final degrees of Pisces are honoring the voids, honoring the places that you have surrendered, honoring that this is exactly where you're in your power to create and begin with new energies, especially when Jupiter re-enters Aries around the solstice. When the sun moves into Capricorn, about that time is when Jupiter re-enters Aries. So we're in this energy, perhaps that feels very open, but also gives us the opportunity to play with what matters to you now, what you want to create next, and truly honoring that vision quest or that calling from your soul that perhaps could feel very loud during this Sagittarius new moon. So this will be great for any of your planets or points in fire signs. You could feel very energized and ready to go. This is also something where if energies are, again, if something felt like it was put on the back burner and it was removed, it was like taken away as this Jupiter was retrograde and went back into Pisces, where things disappear. Things disappear in Pisces. There could be a sense here of maybe you just don't even care anymore, or you're like, oh, I don't even want that. It's not even something I'm attached to. And that's also the energy signature of these planets in Pisces, is the detachment. And that's basically our ego releasing its grasp on something, on an expectation. So we do need to look at how we are managing expectations at this time. The Sagittarius energy, because it feels so uplifted or so excited about something, you can create expectations. You can create a sense of, oh, it's going to be this, oh, it's going to be that. But remember, as the planets move forward and interact with this Mars and also with this Neptune, and then also Jupiter, there's a sense of not being too attached to a particular outcome, but just enjoying the journey. And I know we say that a lot in the spiritual world, is like, just enjoy the journey. And it's like, well, but there's things I like more than other things. So this could be a time when you're open in a healthy way, and you're aware of how you've grown, how you've changed. And I guess I just feel again like there's something new coming forward that could give you a renewal of faith, of hope, of trust. Also, it could even be most definitely divine timing here. Divine timing is always in play, as we know, and yet we get so tired of hearing about divine timing, and it's like waiting for divine timing. But the energy now supports things starting, connecting, and coming through that could possibly be even better because you waited, or because you were required to be on the sidelines, or like you were in a waiting room. This could be energy that busts you free and things finally get moving. So I hope this has given you some good insights into the energy of the Sagittarius new moon. It is a turning point in the month of November, and it's also a turning point in terms of, again, that Jupiter stationing direct and understanding what you've been learning and moving through at a soul level, and how to apply that wisdom in your world and in your life. So thank you so much for joining me as we walk through these charts, which I do every new moon and full moon. And be sure and sign up for my 2023 Soul Growth Astrology program, where we look at all the astrology of next year. It has the biggest astrology since 2020. It is significant in the changes and what we're going to be moving through. And the program's available now, so you can watch it on demand, watch it all right away, and then come back and watch it throughout the year. So check it out. It's on sale. Use coupon code HELLO2023, and I will meet you over there as we dive into what the year ahead holds for us. So thank you for joining me. I will see you back here very soon, and I'm wishing you a beautiful and abundant Sagittarius new moon.